Now, this distance, around 140 yards, is the average a male golfer hits their 7-iron, whereas a tour player, their average is 172. So what is making up that large difference between amateurs and professionals? And it's got everything to do with your technique. So we're going to get into 3 things in your technique, which is absolutely stopping 99% of amateur golfers to hit their irons with any distance. As soon as you get these, you're going to immediately be creating easier speed through better technique and better strike and better accuracy too. Now, culprit number 1 of the reason why you can't create distance with irons is your takeaway. So I see this every day with online lessons on Skillist. We see so many amateur golfers here in their takeaway, rolling their forearms, opening up the club face, and you could try to swing as hard as you want from there, and you're going to hit the ball incredibly short and most likely very, very wayward as well. So what that is when we roll our forearms, so technical term here, forearm pronation of the lead arm, we are going to open up that club face. When our club face is opened up and whipped on the inside there, we've got to find a way to be able to square this at impact. Because if I try to have that classic good rotation we see the top tour players have and try to have good shaft lean like the top tour players have, if I do that with an open club face, I am going to hit the ball miles and miles to the right, as we're going to see there. So that's where what players would do, they would slow down their body to do this, early release into the shot. So you would need to have a big early release to square up an open face. So that takeaway has had that roll-on effect. And what's also going to be happening from there, your body is not going to be generating speed, and it's really easy to do that as well. Now is chunk it. So we can fix this super easily with a simple drill. In fact, 2 simple drills. So okay, here's drill number 1. All we need is an alignment stick. Now grip the alignment stick up the left-hand side of the shaft and have a lot of it coming up here to where now it's touching your side in your takeaway, your lead side. All I want you to do now is slide it down your left side. And that's going to be giving you a perfect takeaway, because you're going to see now that the hands are going to be going slightly in, following the mirrored version of the swing arc. We're going to see the club head be more around the hands, maybe even slightly outside, but the main winner here, look at that club face. So with the club face now being nice and square, I can now do what we see the tour players do, have some good turn and create some good shaft lean, because I don't need to do anything to be able to square up an open face, and I can just deliver it through the shot. So grab an alignment stick, put it up the left-hand side again, slide it down, just perform some repetitions. If you have an inside rolly takeaway, boom, you disconnect it. So it's great feedback, and I'm going to show you a drill in a minute that's even better feedback than this. So I've done a bunch of that. Get that feeling. I'd recommend to do some waggles, getting that exact same feeling. Drills create the feels, and then distance becomes a hell of a lot easier. Okay, so for drill number 2 here, this gives even better feedback, and you can hit some balls doing it as well. So what we need here is a hack motion sensor. If you want a hack motion, there is a link in the description down below as well. And we're doing the inside takeaway drill, so this is absolutely brilliant. So watch this. So we're going to get it set up here, is what we can see from the screen. Then we're going to take the club back. We can see there, that little tick it gave us was for a nice, perfect takeaway. So watch what happens when I do it badly. So this is where you can see this is perfect feedback. So now I'm going to do the fault. So I'm going to go and whip that club on the inside and watch what happens. So you can see there, inside takeaway. The more I drag it more and more in, you can see how the cursor is moving over. So if I want to get into a good spot, there we go. And if I go real club outside, it's still in a good range, because that is an acceptable place to be. So for us there, if we can get in a bunch of reps of that, and we can actually hit some balls alongside we're doing that. So I'm going to get myself into that position again. Boom, there we go. And I'm just going to swing up and nip one down there. Now when we're doing this drill, doesn't matter how you're hitting the ball when you're doing a nice pause section there. Because when we're doing a pause section, it is absolutely great to, for sure, just make sure you're getting the movement. So even though this is all about distance, this is going to create the distance when we get into the position and get it comfortably. But if you're really struggling with that inside takeaway, this is a brilliant way to go about doing it. Nice pause, boom, swing up, swing through, lovely. Now the second reason why 99% of amateurs can't create distance with their irons is they are restricting their hip turn in the backswing. So they're swinging up to the top of the swing like this with a very bent knee and no turn of their hips. Maybe they're listening to a lot of very old let's say early 2000s golf instruction, the resistance model. So if you do that and you try and give it as much power as you can, you're going to be hitting some very poor strikes and you're going to be hitting at that average male distance there. So why that's not going to create distance for you is because in essence, we're just not getting the coil up we need. If we're not getting that coil up and that turn, lower body helps so much for creating turn. If you turn your hips, your shoulders will turn as well. So that coil up is going to give you a lot more momentum build up in the downswing to be able to pick up a lot easier speed. So if I turn those hips and not resist them, it's way easier. As you can see there, the swing itself looked faster, and absolutely it did, because that coil up let that speed unwind a hell of a lot easier. So if you are a golfer who does resist that right leg for so long, resisting the hips, keeping it bent, you're most likely going to run into having a bad back as well, like Jason Day. Jason Day made this change in his golf swing, going from resisted with the hips to then getting some turn, because he was almost retired with how much that fried his back. So for someone who can create speed, this is really dangerous if you are a guy who, maybe you're not watching this video if you can create speed with irons, but if you can still hit them a respectable distance and you're doing that, you've got to change it. Otherwise you will not be playing golf that much longer. You've got to free up that turn. I'm going to tell you a drill to do it quite nicely. Now here's a great drill for it. So just grab a wedge and put the wedge underneath your left heel. And what I want you to do with the shaft is just put it to where it's just a little bit behind your right leg. So really a couple fingers distance or so. So what we want to do from here now is we just want to make some backswings where we're getting our right leg hitting this and giving it a little pushback. So this is teaching us not to have this right leg overflex. It's teaching us to get into a little bit of right leg extension. And that's going to help us turn and rotate our pelvis a little bit better. So we do not want to see golfers at the top with this very bent right leg. They're not going to be turning their hips from there. Let's let that flex, unflex itself and straighten up and absolutely get in there. Now, when you're doing this, just like with the pause drill with the takeaway, you won't see immediate distance. You've got to train these movements into your golf swing before your body is comfortable to produce the speed. So that is where for here, I'm just going to hit a little one down there, just making sure I'm hitting this with my right leg, maybe giving a little bit of a push back as well. It's going to tell me I'm getting good right leg extension. And hip turn, and just nudge one down there nicely. Even with a nice soft one there, it's still gone 150 yards, carry 169 total. So it's just getting that movement pattern makes it so much easier to create speed just via momentum. That's where you see guys with real silky smooth swings, let's say modern wise like Jake Knapp. Now he has a ton of turn, which is why he gets that club real far back past parallel. But his turn that he gets is one of the reasons why he has such that silky smooth rhythm, where you guys who get less turn and still create the speed, like let's say a John Rahm, that's why they look more aggressive, because they're trying to create speed from a less turn position. Those guys might be able to do it like John Rahm, but I doubt you guys out there will do. I certainly can't. So another one, nice and smooth. Gets those hips turning, gets that right leg going into extension. That was a nice bullet one. Straight down there. Get comfortable with that, get those hips turning. Don't let that right leg keep too bent. We want it to straighten up. Just short of lockout is where we want it to straighten up to. We don't want to completely lock it out, because then you won't be able to get it back in the downswing. So just short of lockout, it's going to keep your hip tilt as well. It's going to do so many good things for you. Make sure you're doing that, and then you're going to be able to create some more distance, free up that turn. Now, the third reason of why 99% of golfers will never create distance with their irons is their body is slowing down through the shot. And this is where so many golfers are trying to be overly careful as they're going into the golf ball. So out in the golf course, of course, what's the thing that most golfers are trying to do? They're trying not to hit the ball and lose it. So they're trying to keep their ball, of course, where they want to hit it. So this results in a lot of golfers getting overly careful through the golf ball without too much aggression and without too much whip with their body. So their intent is not rotational enough with the body going through the golf ball. So what that means is they might be great coming into impact. And if they slow their body down here trying to be careful, they'll get lots of wrap over with the hands. They'll end up hitting the ball left, just like that. They'll end up hitting it quite short, just like that there. But absolutely, they will lose that speed coming into the ball. You need to keep the ball, your body going through it. Remember, the golf ball, that is just when you're hitting it, it's just a split second in time. You're moving through that shot. So we need to train a little bit more, not say aggression, but a little bit more speed through the golf ball at the right time. This is what so many tour players do, because when they are getting that good body movement through the shot, keeping everything rotating, their speed not only is staying constant, it's speeding up going through the golf ball. So then they can absolutely create much more distance and better stability of the club face. The better we turn through the shot, the more stable this stays coming through the golf ball. Because let's say, for example, we've got our great takeaway. We've got that toe slightly down, that club is matching the spine angle, it's lovely and square. So now as we're coming down, if we slow down the body, we're just going to flip it and it's just going to go left. So we've got to get that nice turn of the body through it, and we have to train that to happen in the golf swing. And this is a really fun one, great drill to do. So in this drill here is one of Jon Rahm's drill. We just talked about Jon Rahm. Of course, in the last section, if someone doesn't get much turn, but still hit the ball a really good distance from there, really quick looking movement through there, he turns his body incredibly well going through the golf shot. Why does he move his body incredibly well? Because he didn't used to always do that. It's from this drill here, and this is called the no backswing drill. So if you're a regular watcher of the channel, you've probably seen this a few times over the last couple of weeks. I love this drill. This is where we swing back to what feels like we're swinging to the takeaway. But ultimately, we would be swinging a little bit further up. It's a feel versus real. But if we feel like we're swinging here to the takeaway and we're trying to hit the ball as far as we can, what our body has to do, it has to really turn a ton more because you can't create the speed for your hands and arms. And again, hand and arm speed, flash speed, is wildly inconsistent when it comes to accuracy. You can create some speed doing that, but it's not going to be very accurate. You have to be so on with your timing. Golf will be an absolute stressful experience. So if we can get from ourselves as a shorter backswing as we possibly can, get through that golf ball and trying to hit it as far as we can, then we're going to be using that body more and we're going to be turning better. So I'm going to feel like I'm swinging really short and going as fast as I can. And that one I absolutely flubbed. I chunked it. So not ideal, but again, it's a hard drill. So watch these next couple ones. Oh, it's a bit hot in here, I tell you, I'm sweating. I could make the excuse the club was slipping out my hands, but I'm not going to do that. So, okay, another one there, but still, that felt like no backswing whatsoever, and I chunked it a little bit. Still went 130. That's only 10 yards behind the average male distance. So here we go, another one. So again, what felt like no distance, going back, let's create a good distance, going down there, 164 of carry. That's pretty good. So, again, getting to what feels like here, that one was probably more back there. But again, it's a feel versus real. You're trying to create as much distance as you can from a very short backswing, and your body will start to move a hell of a lot more through the ball to be able to do that. Again, 163. I used to do this a ton myself. This is one of the ones I used to do with my coach back in the day to be able to get my chest turning more through the golf ball. Very much a problem you see with some of the better players, this. Because of obviously playing, of course, so much golf, being so concerned about ball control, they get really soft for it. But if you feel like you're going a little bit more aggressive with your turn, you actually gain more ball control because you're using your body better. That stabilizes the club face nicely through the ball. Let's do one more. Oh, the total is great there, 180. And for me, you know, around 165 is my normal 7. I'm a tour player, I'm a coach. But absolutely, I'll be delighted with that. Aim a little bit right, and that'll be a lovely little draw down there. So, again, fire that body up going through the golf ball is what you want to do. So make sure that takeaway is good, because if that takeaway is good, club face is going to be nice and square. If we're inside, it's going to be open. So make sure it's square. You've got a stick drill. You've got hack motion, which again, there's a link down in the description for that. You're setting your swing up to be able to do the nice things to create distance and accuracy. Secondly, we want to be able to create that hip turn. So create the hip turn. Don't flex, don't overly keep that right knee flexed. Don't resist the hips. Give yourself some motion to be able to get some turn, and that is going to be way easier for you to create some easy distance. And other than that, of course, that last little bit, make sure you're turning more aggressively through the shot. If you're not turning aggressively through the shot, you're going to slow down your body. You're going to get extra handsy and armsy. You'll be losing speed, but more than anything, you'll be losing a lot of accuracy. Golf's going to be very, very frustrating. So if you enjoyed that video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction. Just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.